Salah al-Din. Salah al-Din. Focus question. What kind of leader was Salah al-Din? The holy city of Jerusalem. Most 900 years ago, a Muslim boy named Yusuf lived in the Middle East. His faith was very important to him. When he grew up, he became one of the most famous Muslim leaders in history, known as Salah al-Din. Jerusalem is holy to the three religions. The city has many special places that Jews, Christians, and Muslims visit. Jerusalem belonged to Muslims for over 400 years. People of all religions lived there. In 1099, Western European Christians conquered Jerusalem. They promised safety to everyone in the city but instead killed many people. Salah al-Din was born into this world. One day he would take the city back. Early years. Salah al-Din was born in 1137 to 1138 in Tikrit in modern-day Iraq from Jerusalem. He was the son of the wealthy chef. The family moved to Syria when he was a baby. The area was part of a Turkic Muslim empire. Salah al-Din's father started working for the ruler, Sultan Zengi, when Salah al-Din was 6. The family later moved to the city of Damascus. Salah al-Din started school there at age 7. He learned about the religion of Islam. He would study science, math, poetry, and the history of his people. He was more interested in learning than in being a soldier. Sultan Zengi died in 1136. His second son, Nur al-Din, took control of the part of his father's kingdom. Salah al-Din's father became governor of Damascus, and Salah al-Din's uncle Shirkuh became a leader of the army. Salah al-Din joined Nur al-Din's army at age 14. He became Nur al-Din's main helper a few years later. The new Sultan was rich and powerful, but he led a simple life and ruled fairly. Salah al-Din wanted to become the same kind of man, becoming a leader. Years later, when he was in his late 20s, he traveled to Egypt several times with his uncle Shirkuh. The purpose to keep Egypt from falling under Christians' control. His uncle ended up becoming Egypt's ruler but died 9 weeks later. Salah al-Din, aged 13, became the new ruler in 1169. He was also in charge of Egypt's Syrian army. Salah al-Din announced that he planned to free Jerusalem from Christian control. He built many schools in Egypt which drew scholars from Europe and Asia. He could have lived in a huge palace. However, he lived in a small, simple house, and he gave away most of his riches. He gained followers because he was firm, gentle, and generous. The Crusades. Crusades, or wars, were ordered by popes who called for Christians to fight in the Middle East. Their purpose was to take Jerusalem and the surrounding areas from the Muslims. Pope Urban XI the second ordered the First Crusade in 1095. Nur al-Din died in 1174. Salah al-Din believed he was the best choice to rule. He took an army into Syria and fought with Nur al-Din's brothers for 9 years. During that time, he ordered his soldiers to treat their enemies with respect. Salah al-Din's men never burned or stole from villagers, and they never captured soldiers without mercy. The fighting finally ended in 1185. The area between the Nile and Tigris rivers was under Salah al-Din's control. Going to war. In 1187, Salah al-Din started a war against the Christians to take back Jerusalem. In years before, the Christians had been fighting among themselves over who should rule Jerusalem. Reynold, a man who did not like Muslims, gained power of trade routes, and Guy, a French knight, became king. Before then, Arab and Christian traders had passed through each other's lands peacefully. When Reynold took charge, he broke treaties with Salah al-Din and attacked Muslim towns and traders. Salah al-Din decided it was time to go to war. In July 1187, Salah al-Din's army trapped Guy's soldiers on two hills called the Horns of Hattin. His army beat the Christians badly. King Guy was captured, but Salah al-Din later let him go free. However, Salah al-Din killed Reynold, who had destroyed the peace between Salah al-Din and the Christians. In September, Salah al-Din's army surrounded Jerusalem and took the holy city 2 weeks later, on October 2, 1187. Unlike the Christian takeover to Jerusalem in 1099, Salah al-Din did not kill thousands of people. Two Christian holy pieces were destroyed, and even Christians reported that no one was treated badly. Afterward, Salah al-Din still let Christians visit their holy places in the city. Salah al-Din had finally reached his goal of returning Jerusalem to Muslim control. Europe fights back. Europe was shocked to learn that the Muslims had taken Jerusalem. Leaders called for another war. King Richard I of England, Richard and Lionheart, was one of the several European kings who raised armies. They wanted to take back the holy city. In the end, Richard led the armies. Salah al-Din tried without success to capture Tyre, the strongest Christian city that remained. The freed King Guy at about the same time. Guy and his supporters went to the city of Acre, which was under Muslim control. They surrounded it, and crusaders from Europe arrived to help. For 638 days, Christians surrounded the Muslims at Acre, and Salah al-Din's army surrounded the Christians. In the spring of 1191, Christian leaders from Western Europe and their armies arrived. First came Philip Augustus of France, followed by Richard and Lionheart a few weeks later. Richard was a brilliant commander who forced the Muslims to give Acre only a month after he got there. In August of the same year, Richard marched Christian soldiers towards the coast and captured cities along the coast. Again, Salah al-Din couldn't stop them. Instead, he took his army to Jerusalem to strengthen it against Christian soldiers. However, the Christians never attacked. Richard realized his army wasn't strong enough to take and hold the holy city. On September 2, 1192, Salah al-Din's brother and Richard agreed to truce. Salah al-Din let the Christians keep part of the coast. The rest of the land, including Jerusalem, would be Muslim land. Christians would still be able to visit holy places. The battles were over. Salah al-Din won lasting respect from the Christian world for his fair conduct. After the truce, Salah al-Din went home to Damascus after the truce was signed. He died only 6 months later, on March 3, 1193, at age 55. Because he never cared much for money, he had given everything away. There was no money to bury his body. He was later buried in a building built by his son in Damascus. After Salah al-Din's death, his family continued to rule over Egypt and nearby lands until 1250. At that point, any other empire gained power. Remembering Salah al-Din. Salah al-Din was a great leader who was kind to his enemies. After he took back Jerusalem from the Crusaders, he let Christians continue to visit the holy city. He also let the Christians keep some of the land they took. The time in history when he lived was known for fierce battles. Still, one of its most respected leaders is remembered for being fair. Just before Salah al-Din died, he spoke with his oldest son. He said, I have become as great as I am because I have won man's heart by gentleness and kindness. Many people think Salah al-Din set an example of a fair and good leader. He continues to set an example today.